Now we'll see how Tom Spear enjoys building his garden railroad as a way to escape the pressures of a job in the commercial airline business.
Littleton, Colorado is home to Tom Spear and one of the best scenic views just south of Denver. For over a decade now, no matter what season or time of day, Tom can simply look out into his backyard and admire the hard rock and dynamite railroad.
It changes on a daily basis, even with the sun, the way it goes, the shadows, the way they play tricks on the scenes, and also with the seasons. You know, the leaves, the colors always changing, the plants are changing, and then in the wintertime, the snow scenes are really great.
Inspired by a variety of Colorado narrow gauge lines, Tom constructed the 500 feet of terrace track to withstand continual exposure to the elements. The railway is battery-driven, radio-controlled motive power, and structures are scratch-built or have been heavily modified to fit Tom's turn-of-the-century vision. Even though he uses chalk to simulate weathering on wooden buildings, Mother Nature adds her own touch to help make the layout more authentic. Despite the attention to detail, Tom is not so concerned with how authentic the design is. His feelings are, why make another Rio Grande Southern that looks just like another guy's? Tom prides himself on constructing a unique, one-of-a-kind layout that allows his personality to shine through.
I didn't like the railroads that were just on the ground and you have that helicopter view. The action's closer because you can sit on the porch and you have it sitting right there real close to the same elevation. Plus, if you're sitting down, you can look up at some of the track areas. The triple terrace with an elevation like that makes it a lot better.
Tom follows only two simple rules when designing his layout.
One of them is a 10-foot rule, and that's basically that a lot of garden railroads use that, is that if it looks good from 10 feet away, it's acceptable. And the other one is I'm not a rivet counter, and I like to freelance in building some of my equipment, so not to have it look like someone else's. So basically, something like the Rio Grande Southern would do. They would build equipment without plans, and that's how a lot of mine is either kit bash or scratch built.
With miniature perennials that cover the landscape and scatterings of dwarf Alberta spruce, the layout easily resembles the Colorado Rockies Railroad from 10 feet away. However, Tom's modesty shines through when you get up close to the lumber and mining operations. With such fine detailing, even at 10 inches away, the structures and Ozark miniatures seem to spring to life. With help from a Sierra sound system and a bit of imagination, it's as if you're transported back into the late 1800s, and you can almost feel the heat of the steam-powered sawmill. The boiler, fashioned from a simple soda can and funnel, seems to drip and pump steam to power the saw. Even the crane, modified from a USA Trains product, appears to swing its arm and transfer log after log off the waiting cars. Because of the fragile detailing, this is one part of the railway that Tom brings inside during Colorado's most inclement weather. When Tom is not using his imagination for the layout or running trains, he's a manager and director of aircraft operations for the University of Space Research Association. Much of his time is spent overseeing flight operations and conducting maintenance checks for different NASA projects. With a career that deals with so many rules and restrictions, it becomes imperative for Tom to find balance with his hobby to gain a sense of freedom.
In commercial aviation, it's highly regulated, all the rules that you have for maintaining physical fitness and also licensing to fly airplanes. With this, you have a lot of freelance capability, and the rules are not very strict. Modeling is a nice, relaxing hobby.
So whether the Rio Grande Southern is believable to others isn't the issue. What's important to Tom is that there's a piece of him in each foot of track and structure he builds. And when he wakes up or goes to sleep, to know what it felt like to live alongside an actual railroad over 100 years ago and watch Mother Nature work her magic on the hard rock and dynamite railroad.